I'm taking over as the new manager of Nottingham Forest. Last season they did fantastic, finishing in 7th place in the Premier League, but unfortunately this year has been one to forget.
Easy top 3. If I'm not 16th!
So as the new manager, it will be my job to right this ship with the final goal of winning the club a Champions League title. Let's get straight into it. So here we are at Nottingham Forest, and despite their struggles this season, they do have some very solid players, including their center back duo, the Brazilian Murillo, as well as next to him 6'5" Milinkovic, along with a staple of this team in Morgan Gibbs-White, their attacking midfielder, and fantastic new addition from Newcastle, Elliot Anderson. So honestly, I don't think this team is as bad as their placement really suggests. They are dealing with a couple of injuries, most notably Hudson-Odoi, but Murillo's coming back in 3 days. But before we really get into this team, we need to make sure we finish out the rest of this season. Because as of right now, we are sitting in 16th place in the Premier League with only 5 games to go. So there is a genuine real threat of getting relegated. So we're definitely going to have to make sure that does not happen. So for this season, we would be taking on Manchester United. It would take until the 70th minute, but we would find Morgan Gibbs-White from a chip through ball, and he would be in the box and finish past Manchester United's goalie, giving us a 1-0 advantage. And only a couple minutes later, our substitute striker Igor Jesus would find some space in the box, fake shot around his defender, and finish past their goalie near post, giving us a 2-0 lead. Manchester United would be able to get a late goal back, but it was too little too late, and we would go on to win the game 2-1 in a huge victory. And fast forwarding to the end of the season, that win against Manchester United seemed to have made the difference. We have survived in the Premier League, so is Spurs, and it seems like West Ham, Burnley, and Wolves are all getting relegated into the Championship. We only managed to survive by 2 points over West Ham, but it doesn't matter by how many points. The fact is that we survived. At the top of the table, it was Arsenal, who even though they tied on points with City, ended up winning the Premier League this year. And so we did survive. We completed our goal. Let's get into our first full season as manager of Nottingham Forest. And here we are at the start of Season 2. Now we can really get into the future of this team and what I want to change to it going forward. Alongside our big names that I already mentioned in Season 1, we do have some super young talent which I think I can develop over the course of this career mode, including Hutchinson, our starting right midfielder. He's only 22 years old and he's got decent potential, so I think I'm going to try and develop him. As well as someone like our Brazilian center back Cunha, who's only 21 years old. He could potentially break into something special. But I think for this season, in terms of transfers, there is one clear spot that I want to upgrade. We have Elliot Anderson as our by far best player on this team, 83 overall CDM, but next to him, I'm not really loving our options. We currently have 3 older options in Sengare, Dominguez, and Yates, and I'm just not a big fan of any of them, and I think I have in mind the perfect new CDM. And that is going to be another English CDM joining the club for us. We are going to be signing Tyler Morton from Lyon for 37 million. He should be a very good addition. So now Tyler Morton is into the team. Also at striker, Callum Wendo was out on loan and he is back at the club and he is a 79 overall. He's only 24 years old, so I think I'm going to give him a go up at striker for at least this season. And currently, even after the addition of Tyler Morton, we still have 75 million to work with, and I do have a couple players that I want to sell. So we are saying goodbye to our CDM Ibrahim Sengare, as well as Jota Silva for 9.2 million. And so next up, we have a huge piece of business. I wanted to sign a brand new goalie as Sells is getting on an age. I believe he's 34 years old, so we need someone younger. We need someone that's going to be here for the future of this rebuild. So we went ahead and signed Ukrainian goalkeeper Antonali Trubin for 46.5 million. And even though we still have plenty of money in the budget, I want to see what this team is about. I want to see how they develop and I want to see how they grow. And who knows, maybe they'll go on to win the whole Premier League this season.
What?
I'm just kidding. I'm not expecting that. But I do think we can do well this season. I'm hoping for a way better finish than last year. I'm looking for mid-table, hopefully in the top half. But there's only one way to see what this team is truly capable of, let's see how we do in Season 2. For this season, we decided to take on a solid mid-table squad, always there every year. I am, of course, referring to Brentford. And only 23 minutes into the game, Morgan Gibbs-White was found on a through ball, and he was able to sweat it across to our striker, Callum Muendo, who just tapped it in, giving us a 1-0 advantage. And only 15 minutes later, we would whip in a corner, and Milinkovic would be the one to head it past their goalie, making it a 2-score game. And luckily for us, the game would go on to end just that way as a 2-0 victory. And at the end of the season, we actually had a really good campaign. 6th place for us, finishing in a Conference League position. That is way better than last year's horrendous season. At the top of the table, it is ManCity who won the league, followed by Liverpool, Arsenal, and Chelsea. And at the bottom of the table, going down, is Southampton, Ipswich, and Coventry City. And looking at the player stats, Callum Muendo, our striker who came back from loan last season, had an incredible campaign, 30 goals and 2 assists, and Morgan Gibbs-White also had a really good campaign, 23 goals and 9 assists. These two were by far our best players this season. And we're also letting a couple players go with contracts expiring. Chris Wood, Ortega, Awanii, I think that's how you say it, and Sells. We don't really need any of them, so all of them will be leaving the club. But a fantastic first full season here at Nottingham Forest. We improved so much, and we are in the Conference League for next season. And here we are at the start of Season 3. This is what the team looks like. We're developing very nicely, but there's a lot of players in this team who are around 25, 26. So even though they're still decently young, they're not going to develop into the player that they need to become for us to win a Champions League title. So unfortunately, I will have to make some decisions on a couple of these players. But in the meantime, for this season, there is one position that I'm really looking to upgrade. And I'm thinking it's going to be our right back. Our current right back, Aina, is 30 years old. He's the oldest player in our starting 11. He's not going to develop any longer. So I'm looking to bring in a younger player in that position, as well as potentially a new starting center back. Milinkovic, even though I really like him, he is 29, so he's probably not going to get past that 82 overall, and he's not going to be the guy to push us into a Champions League run. So someone that can develop alongside Murillo would be very nice as well. And for the right back, there were a ton of options to choose from, but there was one player that I had my eye on. And that new right back would be a Spaniard that we are signing from Bournemouth. We are going to be signing Alex Jimenez for 44 million. And so with Alex Jimenez now into the starting 11, I am going to shift my focus to the center back spot, and I want to bring in a huge name. I really want to bolster up this defense, so I want to bring in someone who is higher overall than Milinkovic, at least an 83. And looking at the current budget, we have 70 million to work with, but I do want to sell a couple of players. And we do have 2 departures that we are going to get rid of. First off, David Karma is headed to Bournemouth for 17.5 million, as well as Morato for 13.9 million. So that means after those transfers, we now have over 100 million to play with to get a new center back. And we have found our brand new center back. He's going to be a revolution in the back line, hopefully. We are going to be signing Ivory Coast defender Diomande from Sporting Lisbon for 62 million. And so with our 2 new additions into the team, I don't think I'm going to make any more signings. I really like these 2 additions. They're super young. They look like they can grow. And I think in a couple years, this back line is going to look really good. But I like the team. I like what we're building here at Nottingham Forest. So let's see how we do here in Season 3. And for this season, we decided to take on Aston Villa, as they're consistently always a good team. And luckily for us, we got off on the right foot. Only 14 minutes into the match, Hutchinson would find Callum Muendo inside the box, and he would put it past Aston Villa's goalie, putting us up 1-0. And only a couple minutes later, Hutchinson once again would find Callum Muendo, this time a sweat across goal and a tap-in finish, giving us a 2-0 advantage. But in the 60th minute, after some poor defending, Aston Villa would be able to walk into our box, giving them the first goal on the scoreboard. But luckily, it was too little too late, and we would go on to win the game 2-1. And at the end of the season, we ended up finishing in 8th place in the Premier League. Not too bad. We did slip a little bit from last year, but I can't really complain. 8th place is not a bad finish at all. At the top of the table, it was Arsenal who won the league, followed by ManCity, Liverpool, and Chelsea, rounding up the top 4. And at the bottom of the table, it is Wolves, Leeds, and Norwich all getting relegated. In the FA Cup, we made it to round 5, but were eliminated to Bournemouth. And in the Carabao Cup, we made it to the quarterfinals, but lost to Manchester United. And this year, we were actually in the Europa League, not the Conference League. In the league phase, we finished in 2nd place. We absolutely crushed it, not losing a single game, which meant that in the round of 16, we didn't have to go to the playoffs. We played Club Brugge, and we beat them 6-3 on aggregate. But unfortunately, in the quarterfinals, we ended up losing to Napoli on penalties after drawing to them, eliminating us from the Europa League. And looking at the player stats, once again, Kilimwendo was our top goal scorer, 30 goals and 2 assists. He has been carrying us in the goal department. But we did also have some very good contributors. Morgan Gibbs-White, 19 goals and 13 assists, as well as Callum Hudson-Odoi, 17 and 12. These 3 definitely carrying us on the offense. And just looking at it, it seems like there was a slight improvements in goal contributions from last year. And I guess I should also show this. We are going to be losing Dominguez. His contract is expiring and he doesn't want a new one, but that's not the end of the world. But overall for this season, we basically just used it to develop our players more. We didn't do that well in the Europa League. We did okay in the Premier League. We need to keep building on what we have created here. Keep improving this squad, and let's get into Season 4. And here we are, the next season. This is what the team looks like. It's looking pretty good. We are progressing quite well. We have a couple players that are 85 overall. That's really, really good. But before we do anything else, I need to address something. It has been a couple of days since I recorded the first couple of seasons of this career mode. And in that time frame, apparently, Alex Jimenez is facing some sort of allegations of talking to underage women. And as of the recording, these are just alleged. These have not been proven true or false, and I'm not really certain whether it is true or not, but I'm not going to take any risk. I'm going to be on the right side of history. So during this window, I'm going to sell Alex Jimenez and bring in a brand new right back. Just to be on the safe side, I don't entirely know the full story of this situation, and outside of that, there are 2 more spots that I want to upgrade in this team. First, I want to bring in another left back. Neco Williams is 27 years old, so he could maybe push to an 83, but that's about it. We need someone younger that is a Champions League quality in the future. And I'm also going to look to upgrade at right mid. Aiden Hutchinson is an 80 overall. He is the lowest rated player in the starting 11, so I think we should be able to find a better replacement there. And for this season, we have a huge budget of 120 million. But before we buy any players, there were a couple of players that I wanted to sell, of course starting with Alex Jimenez, but I also wanted to sell our French right midfielder, Delaine Bakwa. And we do have our main departures for the window. Bakwa is leaving the club. He's off to Spurs for 35 million. And we are also selling Alex Jimenez. He is off to Liverpool for 50 million. So now after those departures, we have a huge budget of over 200 million to bring in some new talent. And first off, for our left back, we went out and signed West Ham's Juve for 56.5 million. Apologies, I forgot to record the me buying him, but he is 84 overall, 23 years old. He looks really, really good. And we have officially found our brand new right midfielder upgrade. I've been wanting to sign this guy for a while now. He's a super interesting prospect. We're going to be signing the Spaniard Jan Virgili for 55 million. He's currently 82 overall in a left wing, but he should be able to play right mid just fine. He was actually playing for Leeds in the championship, so I felt like this was a very appropriate move because he's super young and talented. He deserves to be in a Premier League roster. And finally, we most likely have our last signing of the window. It is going to be a brand new right back. We are going to be signing Rico Lewis, not from Manchester City, but from Strasbourg in this for 55 million. And so we have taken care of the main business I have wanted to do. We brought in a new left back, Juve. He looks really good. We brought in a new right back in Rico Lewis. He's 23, 83 years old. He should progress perfectly fine. And I'm really excited to see what this guy can turn into. Virgili, I'm really hoping I'm saying that right. But the Spaniard, he's so young. He's only 22. It doesn't seem like it's going to take that long for him to turn into a right mid, but I really want to see how he grows in the future of this career mode. And overall, this team is looking really, really good. In full honesty, we should be pushing for Champions League this year. I don't think it's going to happen, but it might. That is going to be the goal this year. But will we be able to hit that goal? Let's find out. For this season, we decided to take on another big opponent. This time, it was Chelsea. And immediately, it did not start well. Less than 5 minutes into the match, João Pedro was able to find some space in the box and put Chelsea up 1-0 super early on. And only 15 minutes later, after a poor challenge from Tyler Morton, the referee pointed to the spot awarding Chelsea a penalty, and João Pedro was able to step up for his second goal of the match. But in the 34th minute, we would have some hope as Morgan Gibbs-White was found on a through ball, one-on-one with the goalie, and he would put it away, giving us a little bit of hope. But right before halftime, Chelsea would connect some good passes and find some space in the box, making it a 3-1 ball game. And at that point, the game was pretty much out of reach. Chelsea would even go on to score a fourth goal of the game thanks to a header from Cucurella, and we would go on to take a pretty large defeat 4-2 to Chelsea. And at the end of the season, we ended up finishing in 5th place, our best finish so far this rebuild. You can't ask for much more. There was a pretty big gap between the top 3 and the rest of the league, with Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, and Newcastle finishing ahead of us, rounding out the top 4. And at the bottom of the table, it is going to be Burnley, Leicester City, and Bristol City all going down to the Championship. In the FA Cup, we were eliminated in round 4 to Stoke City on penalties. And in the Carabao Cup, we made it a little further into the quarterfinals but lost to Bournemouth. And looking at the player stats, Cali Muendo had once again an amazing campaign. He's really been impressing me so far. He is up to an 85 overall. He had 29 goals and 8 assists this year. That is really, really good. As well as Morgan Gibbs-White, 17 goals and 9 assists. Not too bad. And our brand new signing, Jan Virgili, 15 goals and 8 assists. That's pretty good. I really hope I'm saying that right. That just doesn't sound right. Someone please let me know in the comments if that is wrong, because I am going to continue to call him that. But anyways, a really good season for our attackers. So a top 5 finish in the Premier League, you can't ask for much more. There is a small chance that we are in the Champions League for next year, but we are most likely going to be in the Europa League. But I guess we're just going to have to find out. Let's get into the next season. And here we are in the next season. This is what the team now looks like. Really good progression from everyone. The team overall is around 85 overall. The starting 11 looks really, really good. Trubin is up to an 89. It is super important for us to have a super good goalie, so that is super good for this team. And for this season, we have a huge budget of just over 200 million. But honestly, I don't think I'm going to spend any money on the starting 11. I think we need to work on some backups now. I've been really impressed with a couple of these Nottingham Forest boys that have sticked around, including Callum Muendo and Hudson-Odoi, both 85 overall. So even though they are a little bit older in age, I want to continue to develop them. They are really surprising me as their rating progresses. But I do think I need a new backup goalie, as behind Trubin, we have John Victor, who is 72 overall. I think we could do a little bit better just in case Trubin goes down with an injury or something like that. And then also, we don't have a backup center attacking midfielder behind Gibbs-White, so we should bring in someone there as well. And we are going to start off by bringing in a new backup center attacking midfielder. This guy is young enough where he could progress into something, but he's not too high overall now where he's going to overtake Gibbs-White this year. I do really want to make Morgan Gibbs-White our main guy at center attacking mid, so I think this guy is going to be a really good replacement backup. We're going to be signing Echeverry from Manchester City, and we were able to get him for 46 million. And we officially are signing our backup goalkeeper. He is an 83 overall, so someone just competent enough that could come in just in case Trubin goes down. We are going to be signing German goalkeeper Noah Atabolu for 36.5 million. And so even though we have plenty of money left in the tank, I really like this team. I want to see what they can do. And I think I'm going to at least wait till next season to see if I need to bring in a huge superstar into this team. But I really have faith in this group of players that we have brought in. We also have a lot of players on 1 year left on their contract, so hopefully we're able to re-sign a bunch of those with the money we have. But without further ado, let's get into this season. And so for this season, we stopped and played a Europa League group stage match, and we would be playing Eintracht Frankfurt. And 17 minutes into the match, Cali Muendo would find some space in the box, easily get past his man, and put us up 1-0. And just after halftime, once again, Cali Muendo found some space in the box, scoop turned past his defender, and was able to finish, giving him his second of the match. And only 15 minutes later, we would whip in a pass from out wide, doink a header across goal, and Hudson-Odoi would be there to tap it in for a beautiful goal, giving us a 3-0 advantage. And luckily for us, the game would go on to end just that way, giving us a 3-0 victory. And at the end of the season, we have made huge progress, finishing in 2nd place in the Premier League, just behind Manchester City. Absolutely incredible. We weren't able to win the Premier League, but a Champions League finish for next year is absolutely what we needed. Arsenal finished in 3rd, and Chelsea finished out in the top 4. And at the bottom of the table, it was Fulham, Ipswich, and Wolves, all going down to the Championship. In the FA Cup, we were eliminated in round 3 to Arsenal in penalties. But in the Carabao Cup, we made it all the way to the semi-finals, but lost to Manchester City 3-0. And we also competed in the Europa League for this season, finishing in 2nd place in the league phase. And in the round of 16, we beat Danish team, I believe, FC Midtjylland. I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. I'm so sorry. And in the quarterfinals, we played Genk, who we beat 4-1. But in the semifinals, our run came to an end where we lost to Atletico Madrid, who would go on to win the entire competition. And here are the player stats. We had an incredible campaign, and who else than Kilimuendo? 29 goals once again. He's just been so consistent for us this season, and he has gone all the way up to an 87 as well. Our signing from last year, Jan Virgili, had 22 goals and 9 assists. You cannot ask for much more from him. Hudson-Odoi also had a good campaign, Morgan Gibbs-White, and surprisingly, Elliot Anderson with 14 and 8. That is a great return for a CDM. And we are going to also lose a couple players with contracts expiring, most notably Dan Ndoye, our backup left midfielder. He's leaving, as well as Oli Aina. He is 33 years old, so there's no reason of re-signing him. He is also leaving the club. Just an incredible season for us. 2nd place in the Premier League. Let's get into our 1st year in the Champions League. Let's go to next season. And here we are. The next season, the team looks incredible. We have a couple players on international duty. Hudson-Odoi is up to an 87. Elliot Anderson is up to an 88. Virgili's an 85. And Trubin is a 90 overall. This team is looking really, really good. And the board have given us an insane amount of money to work with, over $250 million to spend. And since it is our 1st year in the Champions League, I feel like we have to make some huge moves. It would just feel so wrong to have that much money in the budget and not spend at least some of it. So I am planning on bringing in a huge name into this team, but the question is, where is that going to be? So Kilimuendo has been really, really good for us this entire career mode. He is locked in as our striker, and really, I'm thinking about bringing in a huge center back. I think that would push us over the edge. Right now, our defense, our fullbacks are 85s and our center backs are 86. So maybe if I can bring in a huge center back, that would really, really help this team out. And then outside of that, maybe if I can find a great deal on a superstar, I'll bring him in. But that's really the only clue I got for this transfer window. And we officially have made a huge center back transfer into the club. We found an amazing deal on him. I know he is older, but for the price tag we were able to get him for, you just cannot pass that up. We are going to be signing 89 overall Bastoni from Inter Milan for 71 million. And next up, we're going to be bringing in a backup striker behind Kilimuendo. He should be a great player if something happens to him. We are going to be signing 84 overall Brazilian striker Marcus Leonardo for 51 million. And finally, we are bringing in a backup left midfielder that could potentially compete for the starting job. We are going to be signing Spanish left midfielder Matias Fernandez Pardo, and we signed him from Torino for 62 million. So some huge additions to this team. We spent huge money this window. We did finish 2nd place in the Premier League. We are establishing ourselves as a huge club in the league, so we might as well spend some money to solidify our position there. This is, of course, our 1st season in the Champions League, but I might be delusional saying this. This team potentially could go all the way. I really like how it looks on paper, but obviously it would be okay if we don't. It is our 1st season trying in the competition, but there's only one way to see how we do. Let's find out how we do in the Premier League and our 1st season in the Champions League. Let's find out. So as it was our first season in the Champions League, we decided to stop and play a UCL group stage match. And we would be playing a very tough opponent in FC Bayern Munich. And only 5 minutes into the game, Bayern Munich would strike first. An extra pass would lead to a wide open shot from their striker, giving them a super early advantage. But in the 23rd minute, we would work the ball back into the box, it would find Kalimuendo, and he would be able to finesse it past Bayern Munich's goalie, making it an even game. And unfortunately, or fortunately, the game would go on to end just that way as a 1-1 draw. Alright, so it is currently like the first week in March. We are looking at the Champions League. At the end of the league phase, we finished in 5th place, meaning we don't have to go through the playoffs and straight into the round of 16. And can I just point out that FC Porto topped the UCL group stage? They must still have all of their super young talent. That's really cool. They didn't lose a game, but we finished in 5th. You can't ask for much more. And we are here for our round of 16 matchup. We are going to be playing AC Milan. We are here for the first leg. Here we go. It is going to be a 3-2 loss to start us off with. And here we are for the second leg against AC Milan. We are down. We need a big result here, or else we are eliminated in the round of 16 way earlier than I thought we would. But there's only one way to find out. Here we go. It is a 2-0 victory, and we go through 4-3 on aggregate. That is absolutely amazing. It could have even been 3, but Kalimuendo missed a penalty. Bastoni as well as Kalimuendo score for us, and we are through to the quarterfinals. Let's go. And here we are for the quarterfinals. It's against a familiar opponent that we already played this year, FC Bayern. They are a good team. This is going to be a very tough matchup in the quarterfinals here. We need to get off on the right foot in the first leg here. It is going to be a 1-1 draw, so all even for the second. So it's time here for the second leg. It looks like Rico Lewis has a red card. So unfortunately, actually, we can put Neco Williams at right back. That is a decent replacement. He's an 83. So we need a win here. We need a win, and we're through to the semifinals. This is a tough matchup. Here we go. It is going to be a 2-1 victory, and we are through to the semifinals. We are going deep in this competition. Super sub Echeverry looks like to give us the winning goal in this match. Wow. Semifinals in the first time in the Champions League. Let's go. And if I thought Bayern Munich was going to be difficult, we have our semifinal matchup. It is against Real Madrid, arguably the best team in career mode. I have no idea what their team looks like, but I'm sure it's good at this point. But I am feeling confident. Our team still looks amazing. We need to get off on the right foot here. It is going to be another 1-1 draw. Very interesting. And we have made it to the second leg against Real Madrid. Once again, win, and we are through. But this time, it is to advance to the finals of the Champions League at the first time of asking. Huge opportunity for us. Here we go. It is going to be a 1-0 victory, and we are through to the finals of the Champions League thanks to Morgan Gibbs White. What an incredible run. But before we get into the Champions League final, we have made it to the end of the season, and once again, we have finished in second place in the Premier League behind Manchester City. We ended up being quite far away from them. They had 89 points and we had 76, but I'll take a second place finish. Champions League for next year just in case. We will definitely take that. Liverpool and Arsenal round out the top 4, and at the bottom of the table, Sunderland, Southampton, and Sheffield United all going down. We did also win the FA Community Shield at the beginning of the season against ManCity. And in the FA Cup, we ended up winning the entire thing, beating Newcastle in the final for another trophy this season. And in the Carabao Cup, we made it to the quarterfinals but lost to Spurs. And I guess I might as well show you now, we are playing no other than PSG. I swear I always play PSG in the final of the Champions League in these videos. And it's always a struggle. They have usually a very, very good team in career mode. But we are going to have a quick look at the player stats. And once again, our top goal scorer was Kalimuendo. 38 goals this year, 8 assists. What a campaign for him. Not to mention everyone else did really good. Callum Hudson-Odoi stayed with us the entire rebuild, 27 goals and 10 assists for him. And our right mid, Jan Virgili, 21 goals and 8 assists as well. And not to mention Morgan Gibbs-White, 14 and 14. You can't ask for much more from an attacking midfielder. A great season all around from everyone. So this is the final squad we are going into the Champions League final with. I'm going to put Murillo in to the starting 11 because he was an original Nottingham Forest player, but the team looks incredible. I'm glad we were able to keep some of the original players. Elliot Anderson is up to a 91, Gibbs-White is up to an 89, etc. But it also seems like, unfortunately, Kalu Muendo, our main man, our best striker, he has a red card for the final and will not be able to play. So luckily, we signed Marcus Leonardo earlier in the year. He is going to have to step up and score some goals for us in this final. But without any more chit chat, thank you for watching this far into the video, and let's get into the Champions League final against PSG. And less than 20 minutes into the match, Elliot Anderson would 1-2 with Leonardo, finding himself through on goal inside the box and finesse it past PSG's goalie, crossbar down, a beautiful finish, giving us a 1-0 lead. But less than 15 minutes later, Kvaratskhelia would steal the ball off us in our own box and somehow, while falling, finesse it into the far corner past our goalie, leveling the game up with a really good shot. So as the halftime whistle blew, it was still a 1-1 game. But in the second half, in the 74th minute, we were able to find Hudson-Odoi out wide, who was able to sweat it across right into Morgan Gibbs-White, who tapped it home, giving us another lead. And only a couple minutes later, Hudson-Odoi was found once again on a through ball, and this time he took it himself, finessing it past PSG's goalie, giving us our first 2-goal advantage, making the game 3-1. And so as the final whistle blew in the Champions League final, we had done it. Nottingham Forest were officially champions of Europe. So we have done it. We have completed the Nottingham Forest rebuild, and who else but Morgan Gibbs-White to raise the Champions League trophy. He's been here since the start. He deserves it. So Nottingham Forest win the Champions League. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some other videos, I would really appreciate it. And subscribe if you're new. We just hit 4K. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.